Good morning, students. Good morning. Hope that you have already listened to some of the classes which we have relayed, telecast on YouTube. Hope you are satisfied with the classes that are going on. Still, we are always thinking of you people because the examination is going to take place tentatively because we can't predict anything at this particular moment, hoping that it will take place with all God's bless on June 18th. Let us now think of report writing, which is once again a crucial part in the question paper. And also remember that report writing is an exercise which is very much required from the point of all people to know what that goes on in the society, not only from the point of examination, from the point of understanding what that goes on, from the point of getting information of all the activities that are taking place socially, politically, economically, throughout the globe. We would like to have reports, and report writing requires good language, good syntax, passive voice construction, good words, etc. What are the types of report writing, or what are the types of reports that are available? Let us think of. First is that journalistic report, which you have studied already. I am just refreshing, making you to remember what is that available in your textbook. And journalistic report that is usually available in newspapers, and journalists usually do it. Second one is surveyor's report. Surveyor's report, especially, it is done by people, students who make a survey of varied commodities, products that are launched, especially MCOM students, MBA students. These people make a survey of the commodities, products that are available, and thereby report has been written. And next one is scientific report, and science students are very familiar with this. Even computer science students are very familiar with this laboratory report that you have, and you make a report. You make a laboratory report of what that you have been studying or what that you have studied, and you have to have the data. And the first thing, when you write a report, you require data. Without data, it is not possible. Already you have studied making notes, and making notes, that exercise or making notes is an exercise which improves your language, improves your diction, improves your vocabulary, and that is why remember that making notes helps this particular exercise also. Without making notes, this is rather difficult. In the case of pie chart, you may not require. Very brilliant students, very intelligent students may not require, but students who are not able to remember for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, the time when you write the examination, you have to make notes. Without notes, it is difficult, and that is why making notes is an exercise which is very beneficial to this particular exercise, that is report writing. So students, second one is that you have to remember that report writing is always goes on in passive voice construction, because you put a report, you write a report somewhere on a piece of paper, or you publish it and somebody else reads it, and that is why usually you get the information from somewhere. Varied sources are available, and you take down the notes or you make notes, and then you put it in your own sentences. and that is why comprehension is very much important. When you read something, you have to make notes. When you listen to something, you have to take down something, that is taking notes. That is why report writing, we are making notes, and after that remember that passive voice construction is quite beneficial, and most of the sentences are in passive voice construction. Now look at the two graphs that are available. One is a pie chart and the other one is a bar graph. And this is simply for the sake of understanding that I have written. Don't think that this is 100% guaranteed or the very information goes on like this. No, just for the sake of making you understand report writing, I have done this. Now, the following pie charts give a graphic representation of the area of land used for different purposes in and around Bengaluru. Prepare a report in about 120 words. You need not consider 120 words there. You may finish it with the 60 words or 80 words, depending on the very brevity or the good language that you have got. 120 words that you need not count, instead write it properly, which has to contain, write it properly by containing all the points that are available, all the notes that are available in the very graph. Now look at the pie chart, first one, 1970, it says the year has been given. Look at the pie chart, that is 2020, and in the pie chart, whatever the ratio that has been given, which has been described there, which has been written by numbering 1, 2, 3, 4. First one, agricultural land in 1970, 55%. And the second one, urban residential area, that is 10% in 1970. And the third one, industrial area, 10% in 1970. Fourth one, lakes and gardening, 25% in 1970. This much you have to understand. And after that, 2020, 45% agricultural land, first one, in comparison with 1970. And then second one, 20% urban residential area in 2020. When you compare the same 1970, look at here. Now, third one, 25% industrial area in 2020, and then 10% lakes and gardening. So after understanding this much, the making notes work in the examination answer sheet, you write it in, either you write it in a separate page by giving the heading rough work, or else on the side of a particular page where you prepare or where you write report writing, there also it is possible, depending on your convenience it is. But rough work you have to write the heading that you have to write rough work, or you put a shape like this on the side of the answer sheet, and there you make notes, no problem. Put a bracket and write the notes there. Now it is easy. I have already told you that many students may not write making notes because they can remember and they may directly write it. But what is required is that there must be the very thesis statement or the introduction that is required. When you write a report, introduction is very, very important, which is called thesis statement. And what is the thesis statement? What is an introduction? Which is very easy for any student. It is very easy. You can write the following pie charts, give a graphic representation of the area, etc. It is given there. When you write there, you don't have to draw the very chart there because it is already available in the question paper. What you have to write is that the pie charts. Remember, the pie charts, if two pie charts are available, the pie charts give a graphic representation of the area of land used for different purposes in and around Bengaluru. This is the first statement that you must write. It gives a proper impression to the reader, it attracts the reader, and the valuer, the examiner, understand that the student has understood what has been given there. And later you go on writing by comparing, because you have prepared notes or you have done it in your wisdom, and that is why you can straight away start writing also. Those who are not able to write straight away, they prepare notes. So students, you must say that in the year 1970, 55% land has been utilized for agricultural purposes, and in the year 2020, 45% land is only used for agricultural purpose. Then, second aspect, urban residential area in the year 1970, it was 10%, whereas 20% land has been used an urban residential area. Then next, third one, in the year 1970, industrial area was only, or for industrial purposes, only 10% was used, whereas in 2020 it was 25%. Lastly, the fourth one, in the year 1970, lakes and gardening were 25%, whereas in 2020 it is 10%. Now, you should not make it monotonous. It should not be my sentences that you have to repeat or that you have to write there. Instead, your own sentences. But remember that I have used thrice or 4 times. Remember, I have used, I think, for 3 times whereas. It should not be whereas only. You can write other linkers, because linkers have also been taught, but here comparison is very much essential, because both speak the same, only the ratio that has been changed, or the use of agricultural land has been increased or decreased. That is what you have to understand. That is why the language should not be monotonous, the same word should not be repeated, instead different ways in which you can write. But bear in mind that you have to make a comparison, close study of both the pie charts, and then give a conclusion that we have understood that agricultural area has been decreasing, or use of land for agricultural purposes has been decreasing. Why? The reason is also available, that industry has been increased, urban residential areas have been increased, and that is why naturally agricultural land or land that has been used for agricultural purposes, that has been decreasing. So this conclusion has to be given, so that your pie chart will be quite good, and you will get, if your language, if your linkers, if your words vocabularies are good, you will get 5 out of 5. And those students, mediocre students, or those students who find problems with the language, they may get 2 marks or 2.5 mark. And remember that comparison is required, which is increasing, which is decreasing, that you must understand, and why, the reason that you have to unearth from the very pie chart that is available. That is also an important factor that you have to remember when you write the examination on June 18th, my dear students. Now let us go to the second pie chart, that is, the second chart, that is bar graph. The following bar graph gives 2 data, namely the production of rice and coconut in India from 2000 to 2020, use the information to write a report for the local newspaper in about 120 words. I have given in tons the production of rice and coconut and the year that has been given in the x-axis. Now look at the very bar graph. 2000, the production of coconut 10,000 tons, then rice 30,000. Look at the production of rice and coconut 2005, 30,000 coconut and 40,000 rice, and then 2010 coconut once again 40,000, coconut 40,000 and rice 45,000. 2015 the production of coconut once again 40,000 and the production of rice 45,000. Then 2020 the production of coconut 45,000 and the production of rice 50,000. So make a comparison. Now let me make the lines here so that you will understand. So this is how it is possible for you to understand the description that is available in the same manner that you have to write, that is the thesis statement that is required. The bar graph gives two data, namely the production of rice. What you have to write is that the bar graph gives the data of rice and coconut production in India from 2000 to 2020. That is the first statement, and then you write how much has been produced in 2000, the coconut and the rice, and then how much is produced in 2005, how much is produced in 2010, how much is produced in 2015, how much is produced in 2020. That you have to understand. Very simple to understand, and there is no much description required. One is the production of coconut is increasing and the production of rice is also increasing, but think of the gap that is available. So earlier or in 2000 it was 10,000 the production of coconut, but the production of coconut is increasing in the year 2005 30,000, which means 20,000 increase, 20,000 tons increase has been increased, and in the year 2010 40,000, once again 10,000 increase. Coconut in the year 2015 there is no increase. In the year 2020 there is 47,000, which means 7,000 tons increase. But think of rice production, that is in the year 2000 30,000 and then 2005 40,000. So the increase of production that you have to understand, and then 5,000 increase in the year 2010, that is rice I am speaking of, and then 2015 47,000, and think of 2020 50,000. So think of the increase of production of both the crops and thereby understand which is increasing and what is the very speed of increasing, the very production of rice or production of coconut that you have to understand, and that comparison that you have to write, and then you have to give a conclusion also. That is also very much important, that the production of rice is not increasing in the speed of coconut, which means that people, I mean the agriculturists, farmers especially, they are switching on to coconut from rice production, which you have to understand. So remember that when you write the report, any report for that matter, pie chart, bar graph, another one is line graph that is available, which we may discuss in the next class. You must understand that there must be a thesis statement, the very beginning introduction, which is called, then description, comparison, close understanding, and a conclusion is also very much required. So if you do this much, you will be benefited in the examination, and this use of language is very much tested here in this particular exercise. Thank you, students. Thank you.